Namaste everyone and welcome to the Spake Satguru Sivananda. We are back again with another quote. Nana is going to explain the background and also the context and the meaning of the quote. Here we go. I'm going to share the quote and then we can take it forward. We have come this far on account of God's grace. Nana, over to you.
Namaste, everyone. Today we have a wonderful quote again, which has an intrinsic connection with the earlier quotes. Now, in this quote, the very important words are this far. And again, we have God's grace. This far and God's grace. These two are the important things that we have to discuss about. So what is this far? How far is it? To what extent we have traveled? Where are we standing now? Okay, if we are standing here, as we know, because consciously we are here at this moment. But do we have any idea to how far we have to go? So we have come this far is okay. But how far we have to go? So it's a very complicated question. We have come this far, but we are not very sure how far we have to go. And secondly, how far we have come? This is another question raising about it. So earlier when we have seen the other quotes with regard to the emergence or evolution of Brahmanda and the soul and this and that, we have seen that, we have come very far that way. If you take it from those dark days where, our soul has not even evolved by that time. So those dark days, or days or years or yugas that we don't know. So from there, we have come to this Brahmanda. Who has brought us to this Brahmanda? We don't know. After entering into the Brahmanda, the material evolution has taken place. Along with the material evolution, soul has also emerged out of it. And the soul has been evolving. There are two kinds of evolutions. In one philosophy, they say that the soul is not an evolved one. There is no question of evolution to the soul. That is in a way right, because, if you think that the entire thing is a part of the whole that is incomprehensible to us, so from there, we have come here. So if such is the case, soul as such has nothing to be evolved. It has come directly from the original source. If you call it Paramatma, by any other name, so you are also part of it, so you are also that. If I say this is my hand, this hand is not different from me. If I say this is my head, this is part of my body, what I call I. These are all the parts of that I. So that is one philosophy where the soul has also come from somewhere. And from the original source, so there is no question of evolution to soul. But normally, when we look around, when we see what is happening around us, everything is evolving. All material evolves. So here we have to make a subtle difference here. The soul that is evolving out of the matter has to also evolve. So what is that energy, or what is that power, or what is that Shakti which is making us to evolve? So that Shakti, that original power, unless it is all pervading, so this soul cannot take that Chaitanya, that consciousness, to evolve by itself. So the material part of the soul has to evolve. But the spiritual part of the soul, because the soul, we are making distinction between these two. So the soul has two in our understanding, as we have seen the evolution of Brahmanda and this evolution of Atma and all that. So we make it two parts, or the sides of the same coin. It's only one coin. On the other side, we have Bomma, and on this side, we have Bursu. So Bomma is the Shakti, the energy, and Bursu is the matter, material growth. So if you take this soul, which soul is evolving? The material part of the soul is evolving, because this part of soul has emerged from the matter, not from the non-matter. It has evolved from the matter. So that's why we said during the other quote that matter has also soul. So matter slowly evolving into a soul. So that soul, the material part of that soul, has come from the Brahmanda, from the matter. So what part has come from other side? That is from the energy, from the Almighty, or the Paramatma, or whatever, the light, whatever you call it. You can give any name to that. So that part is also mingling with this soul or with this matter, and then that is causing the real evolution of the material soul and the material Brahmanda. So this is a very intrinsic thing. Because earlier we generally take soul as one. Soul is of course one. Soul is also one. Soul is also one with the other soul, the Paramatma. But there are two functions here. One part is evolving and the other part is guiding it, infusing the power to it, infusing the consciousness to it. So this is the most complicated part of a soul. So all the philosophies that we have, where the soul is only one and we are also part of the soul and the soul is not different from, all these are true. All these are true. But when we say that soul is also evolving, this is also true. All these are the part of the same truth, what we have termed in the earlier quote as absolute truth. The absolute truth is inexplicable, incomprehensible, and inexplainable, because we don't know about that. But that causes both the Brahmanda, emergence of Brahmanda, emergence of soul, and giving them light and taking them to the ultimate goal. So when the question comes this far, what Guruji meant by this far? Either he or we or a tree or any other thing has come to that far. So we have come this far, but this far is not common to all of us. In our human society, we have so many people, but they are at different stages. When you say who has come which far, even I myself do not know that how long, how far I have come. So nobody knows about that. This problem comes because there are no measurements of weights, no measurement of distances, no measurement of volumes. So all these measurements are not there for the phenomena that we are going to speak. How big is that phenomena? We don't know. Out of this, how big Brahmanda has come, that is finite. Brahmanda is finite. But it has come from the infinite. Infinite means we don't know its beginning. And Brahmanda ends in itself. So we don't know the end point of that's the infinity. So these two ends. That's why we have so many in Sahasranamas. We have Adi Madhya Antara. Adi Madhya Antara. So these three things are not, these are not applicable to that phenomena. So that is as big as that you can't understand that. So this far is not a definite point. Suppose if you are traveling from here to Delhi, so when you think that Nagpur has come, now you can say that this far I have come and that far I have to go. So here they are finite, they are definite. But when you are evolving in the Brahmanda, because it is a material evolution, you can at least say that you have come this far. Which far? To this human form. And after taking the human life, which far you have come? So that you can make an inquiry from where you have come, where you have to go. So your intellect has also developed to this extent at this far. So Guruji has very clearly says this. This far is, of course, fixed to everyone. But they are different. All this far, the points are not the same for each one. So when you are questioning, because we are all sitting here and then questioning from where we have come and where we have to go, and who is there, to whom we have to see, who is there to help us. So all these questions have struck to your mind at this point. So to whomever it may concern, whoever gets this question in his mind, that is a station, a very important station for him, from where he can make an inquiry into himself. We can also take one example here. Because, what was the thickness and darkness of that place from where we have come? How can you imagine that? And how do you know that, you have traveled through all the 7 planes, bhuvanas, and then you have come to this 8th plane, the earthly plane, and you have taken a human body. So all this, you have a fixed program, wherein you don't have involved yourself. Here, of course, you are thinking of that and going somewhere, doing tapas or doing puja, doing that, doing this. You are thinking of this now, because this has started at this far. But before that, where are you? Who brought you here? Who brings this question to your mind? And here starts Atma Vichara. So you are inquiring about yourself. And Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi always says that, you should make Atma Vichara. And to some extent, Jiddu Krishnamurti also says this, that, it's only Atma Vichara. It's not that somebody will come and tell you something. Somebody explains you. Even if somebody explains to you, you are not going to believe that. Unless you experience it yourself, you cannot go that far. You cannot take that advice. You are not going to have that faith. So we have already passed 7 planes of different planes, at different levels. We had different experiences. And while we are passing through, we have also earned some qualities, some characteristics. Though the bodies may change, some qualities and characteristics we are carrying from there. This also we have had spoken about it earlier. So with all these characteristics, But still, we are on the path of progress. If you say that you are a human body, you are a human body. So this far you have come without your effort. Generally, we say that we can't progress unless we do effort. Okay, that's true to some extent. But here I have not done anything. I am sitting here before you and talking to you. And we are also pointing out certain points and then discussing over that. And we are making decisions and also we are making taking actions. So this kind of freedom, this kind of action, this kind of chaitanya has come to you now. So now you can think that whether to follow Buddhism or to follow Jainism or to any other thing. So here you are a free man. Now you can think of this. But earlier I was such, I didn't know about that because my intellect has not developed. Even till animal life, we say that we go by instincts. We go by instincts. Because if the animal gets hungry, it runs to some pond, somewhere to eat, to drink, to some pond. It is only instinct, because body craves for that, and it makes you run to that and gets. If he is not really, if the other animal is obstructing you, you quarrel with it. So these things are there earlier. Now, as non-commercial break. So the way that we are dealing now is about the human body and the development of intellect. So up to this end, you are not responsible for what had happened to you earlier in almost all your births in different species and also different human bodies. This far, this is this far. So this far has to be understood that way. But all these things have happened, who did it? Who did it is the question. Because we always see that if there is a result, there is an effect, somebody would have done that. Whether you or I or somebody or an unseen fellow, somebody would have done that. But here, that unseen is not to be seen. That unheard is not to be heard. He won't claim also. Generally, what we say, even if we write a little story, then we take a copyright out of it. We say that this is done by me. This invention is mine. So this discovery is mine. So we take a credit to that, and we want that we should be associated with that invention. But here, he is not claiming anything. He has done so many things, not only to me, to you, to everybody. Everybody has come this far. We are all sitting here and discussing about this. So that means we have come this far so that we can talk to each other, we can discuss, and we can make questions, and then we can make inquiries, and then we can search for that. So all these things is simply grace of God. That is what Guruji says. So from here, you can claim that, you have been doing yoga, so it had happened. So you are doing tapas, so it had happened. You are worshipping and puja, these things, so it had happened. So all these things here, you can claim. And you say that, you should not keep quiet. You must do something. So you are doing something to get something. So here we are interacting with if there is God, we are interacting with God. We say that we are doing this vrata, so God, you have to give this. Okay. So this is okay, this is understandable. But so far what had happened earlier, we have not asked him, we even did not know what we wanted. We did not know whom to ask. But at that time, God has been very graceful, very kind, very compassionate. That is the compassion, kindness, and greatness of God. Not the God who is satisfying our desires. So these things go on. There is a very big principle and formula for that, how the desires are satisfied? What kind of desires are satisfied immediately? What kinds of desires are not, are put off for some time? So all these things is a different science that we will speak to anytime later. But here, God is graceful to us. God is compassionate to us without any cause. You have not caused anything. You have not earned any merit point. You could not even ask him. In fact, you did not even know what is good for you. So you have passed, you have come this far only with the grace of God. After this, whether he is compassionate, he is lovable, or what other, that your intellect decides. Oh, God was great, I got this. Oh, God is not taking any interest in me. God is not saving me. God has not heard of my desire. And I am troubled myself. God, where is God? God has not done anything to me. That you can say now because of your intellect. But earlier, you could neither thank him, you could neither ask him whether he has done it or not. But the things have come slowly, gradually, and you have come this far only with the grace of God. So, shall we stop here? And then if any questions are there, we can also discuss. And that will also benefit me.
Yes, I loved this point where you pointed out that you explained the grace of God. It's not, you don't perceive it as only when your desire is satisfied, you look at it as grace, but you have put it so beautifully together by saying that we have come this far during the evolution from matter to soul, then through different lokas, and now we are in this loka. And all of this has happened without our knowledge. Maybe at one point we did have a knowledge, but we are only pondering upon it now. And we can look back and say we have come this far, but we have not caused or we have not asked God or Ishvara to bring us this far. And he has still taken care of us and has brought us this far. And that is grace. Beautifully put together, Nana. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, if anyone has any questions,
unmute them. Unmute
yes,
them.
Unmute all.
Question I had, it was a nice thing, and I joined last minute. But when you said this, we came so far here, but every individual is different, isn't it?
Yes.
So every individual is different. But how do you see that grace? For some people can say like, okay, I'm good. Some people say, oh, I'm not that great. So again, how come the grace is differentiated between them?
No, not the present status. I am speaking of those who discuss about this particularly have come to that far so that they are able to discuss about from where they have come, how they have come, who brought them. So these questions come only at a particular point of our evolution. So secondly, everybody is not at the same point. That is only relating to the yoga, the further evolution of the soul. So from here, we are at the basic point. From the basic point, we are taking our strides. Some may go gradually, some may go take strides, and then some may even jump. So some may suddenly get evolved and then become the great one. That part we are not taking. We are only discussing about the general physical material evolution of the soul to this far. So and up to this, we had no role because we didn't know that we have to come up to this far. At that moment, we are taken care of and we are brought here. That is God's grace. About the God's grace, that can be discussed in the other quotes also differently. But this far, only God's grace, that is the only explanation that we can give. Because we cannot explain how we have come this far. Only should say that it's only God's grace, where we had no role.
Thank you, Anand Garu. Thank you, Nana. There is one more question here. Someone is asking, is the devolution, also grace of God. In Puranam, is devolution going back?
Yes. We'll come to it later. It's a very big question. It's a very big question. Because evolution and devolution. When we say evolution is there, devolution must be there. Because we have these three states of our existence: Srushti, Sthiti, and Laya. These three things are there. So they are just the same thing. Because when you are speaking of evolution, what devolves, what is evolving, that we have said very clearly that we are evolving only material part of it. Similarly, we also devolve the material part of it. But our elders say soul remains. Yeah, this everybody knows. The soul remains. But what is going on? This body is going away. Similarly, this Brahmanda will go away. That is devolution. Evolution and devolution only relate to the material part of this creation, not to the non-material part of the creation. Okay? And very clearly we will come later when the quote comes, the relevant quote comes.
Certainly, Nana. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining. And we will see you again tomorrow, same time, 1 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank